You're alone, nothing bad is happening, no one is watching, and yet a wave of shame suddenly hits you, not because you hurt anyone, not because you crossed a boundary, but because your brain quietly tells you that what you just did was wrong. That whisper doesn't come from your body. It comes from old emotional rules your brain learned a long time ago. As children, our brains are designed to absorb social signals like survival instructions. We don't just learn through words, but through tone, silence, facial expressions, jokes, and what adults avoid talking about. When topics like sexuality are treated as embarrassing, secret, or sinful, the brain stores that emotional tone. It links natural curiosity and pleasure to the risk of social rejection. And for the human brain, social rejection is not a small thing. Deep neural circuits evolved to treat exclusion as danger. Studies show that the brain areas activated by social rejection overlap with those involved in physical pain. So when you imagine being judged, discovered, or shamed, your nervous system reacts as if something harmful is about to happen. Your body tightens, your heart shifts, your mind scans for threat. Over time, this creates a powerful association. Pleasure becomes paired with fear. Intimacy becomes paired with secrecy. Even when you're alone, your brain can replay the emotional atmosphere of past warnings, religious messages, cultural taboos, or awkward reactions you witnessed growing up. The shame you feel is not a moral verdict, it's a conditioned emotional reflex. What makes this especially confusing is that your rational beliefs often don't match your emotional reactions. You can intellectually know that masturbation is common, harmless, and part of normal human behavior, and still feel a heavy emotional discomfort afterward. That mismatch happens because your emotional brain learned its rules earlier than your logical brain could question them. Emotions are faster, older, and stickier than ideas. There's another layer too. Shame is a social emotion. It evolved to keep us accepted by the group. Thousands of years ago, being rejected could mean losing protection, food, or survival chances. So your brain learned to treat certain behaviors as risky, not because they're harmful, but because they might lead to judgment. When private behavior becomes morally charged in a culture, shame becomes the emotional alarm system that tries to keep you safe from being seen. This is why shame can appear even when no one is there. Your brain doesn't need a real audience. It can simulate one. The imagined eyes of others are enough to trigger the same response. In that moment, your nervous system isn't reacting to what you're doing, it's reacting to what you were once taught could happen if you were discovered. The problem is that shame doesn't actually protect your well-being. It doesn't guide healthy behavior. It only trains your brain to associate natural bodily functions with danger, and the brain strengthens whatever pattern is repeated. If pleasure is often followed by guilt, tension, or self-criticism, that loop becomes automatic, not because you're broken, but because your nervous system is doing exactly what it was trained to do. Here's the quiet shift that can loosen this loop. When shame appears, instead of fighting it or judging yourself for feeling it, you can observe it, not as truth, but as a learned reaction. That tiny moment of noticing creates a gap between the feeling and the story your brain attaches to it. Over time, that gap allows new associations to form. Your brain slowly learns that nothing bad happens when you feel pleasure. No danger arrives, no punishment follows. This doesn't mean the feeling disappears overnight. Emotional conditioning fades gradually. But each time you respond to shame with curiosity instead of self-attack, you weaken the old wiring. You teach your nervous system that safety can exist alongside pleasure. So if shame shows up, it's not evidence that something is wrong with you. It's evidence that your brain learned to confuse privacy with danger. And once you see that clearly, the emotion loses some of its authority. It becomes a signal from your past, not a verdict on who you are.